Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I started YouTube about October, I think mid-October 2024. And after being on this platform for over a year in this space, the nutrition space, which is super freaky, let me just tell you. It's really weird. I didn't know it was that weird until I got into it, or until I started making videos, really. Because when I started looking for a solution to my health problems back in 2022, November, my fateful ER visit that opened my eyes to all the BS, which, I mean, my eyes should have been opened earlier than that because, I mean, I've been making pharmaceuticals for like 30 years and I was in healthcare. I saw everything that went on, yet I still did not wake up to the ridiculousness until I actually had one of my last medical problems and I ended up in the ER shelling out another $5,000 for nothing. But anyway, I digress. But one of the things I think is very interesting, just as a person, this is just me as a person, I like to go back in time because we have a real Wayback Machine with YouTube and all these other platforms. We can go back and look at the past and see for ourselves how everything starts. We know how everything ends in a lot of cases, especially with all these carnivore influencers who are jumping ship and telling you one thing and then doing another. Which, I mean, I'm not dissing on them. Everybody's got to do their thing. I don't care. You do you, man. So today, I thought it would be interesting to climb into the Wayback Machine, go back in time, and check out some of our favorite, and maybe not so favorite, nutritional influencers so that we can see who they were. Right here on the Carnivore Science channel. There's no freaking way that you're surprised, are you? Come on. Plus, he's rocking the beard. I mean, come on, check it out. This is actually from either October or November of 2022. So I couldn't go that far back for Chaffee. I can't find a lot that's, further back than this, but it'd be interesting if I could. So I don't know. I figured I'd check out a little bit of what he has to say here on this live. He was doing a YouTube live. So 2022, bearded Chaffee. It doesn't get any better than this.
From Jared, Dr. Kiltz mentioned in his interview with you about the glycobiome and glycobiology. Do you have anything to say about this topic? It was a bit over my head, and the resources that I can understand and find myself are rather scarce. Yeah, no, I think that's a very interesting point to make. You do have a glycobiome, and this is a and it's and you have this in a lot of other areas of your body. It's not just in your GI tract, and so this is sort of an intricate web of molecules that sort of have a sort of protective sheath and coating. And I don't know all the functions that it has. I'm sure it's um, quite a lot of them, but it's not something I've studied in too much detail. But it's an important part of your anatomy and your physiology and biology. So when you damage that and you damage that structure, like the glycocalyx and things like that, it's it's going to it's just going to mess with your physiology and the way that your body functions, and that's going to have untold sort of consequences as a result of that. And he was talking about all these different things in plants that absolutely terrorize the glycocalyx and your glycobiome. And so yeah, no, I thought it was very interesting. It's definitely something I need to look into more as well, and to get more familiar with. But no, um, yeah, I don't have too much to add to that because he knows just so much more than I do about that. So just check out his videos on that, and because that guy knows his stuff.
You know what I find interesting about this? Well, first of all, is that he sounds just like, well, I mean, he's a little more polished now when he delivers information, but he's actually saying something that's very critical here that I appreciate. And of course, I appreciate what Dr. Chaffee says. I mean, come on. But he's saying that he doesn't know that much about this subject. That's important. A lot of what other people do is they won't know about a subject or they won't understand something fully, but they pretend that they do, or they're just mainly pushing talking points or whatever the mainstream message is, not what they really believe or what they really understand. But by him saying, hey, I don't know that much about that, that says volumes. That says a lot about a person. So kudos to Chaffee. Being the same as you were then as you are now. Consistency is king. So I really appreciate that. And of course, the beard and everything else. But just saying, moving on. Next up, we have Dr. Ken Berry, one of my favorites. I love him to death. He is a Southerner, so it's required, obviously. And also, he's just very, very straightforward. I like his delivery. I like the way he presents information. And I like the no BS policy that he has. So this video in particular was from 8 years ago, and I think it's worth sharing. This video is called Why I Don't Talk to Drug Reps. Very important message that he has here. So why don't we check it out?
Hello and welcome back. This is Dr. Berry, and I want to tell you about something that happened in my office a few years back that broke my heart and made me change how I practice medicine and how I interact with the big pharmaceutical houses. But first, please take 1 second, would you, and click the subscribe button and click that little bell and share this with somebody who needs to hear it, okay? It won't kill you. It only takes a second. All right, so back to the story. So it's been about 10 years ago. I was standing in the hallway of my office talking to a drug.
He's kicking his desk. His display's wobbling. I've done that so many times, it's not even funny. I still do it.
Rep. And you may or may not know this, but the big pharmaceutical houses who sell the drugs you see advertised on TV, I like to call them Big Pharma for short. So if you hear me say Big Pharma, those are the drug people who...
It's funny he's having to explain Big Pharma. I mean, did we have to explain that 8 years ago? That's really funny to think about, was in 8 years how much that's changed. Because I don't know if that was in like the, I don't know, zeitgeist or something. Like, was that a term that we used? It seems like I've always used that term, but maybe not. It's really funny that, you go back and he's having to explain to people, I use this term and this is what I mean by that.
Sell the drugs on TV that are actually legal to sell. And so they always send out the most attractive, polished, articulate people they can, and they actually teach these people how to interact with doctors and how to talk to us and how to stroke our ego and how to make us feel like a bigger deal than we actually are. True story. You can Google this and read about how they train pharmaceutical reps. And so I was standing at the end of my hallway talking to a particularly attractive drug rep about some drug, which I don't remember. And she was telling me everything in detail that she knew about this drug. And they teach them to go about 2 levels deep. Never do these drug reps actually know about pharmacokinetics or anything else in the way of pathophysiology.
He's telling you the truth about that. And he's right about the way they dress and the way they present and all of that, because they do teach them to be persuasive, and they are dressed to the nines. They present as like they're runway models or something. It's crazy. And then even the people who work in the pharmaceutical companies, which it's just a culture. It's a culture of like power and corporate power at that. Even I wore power suits every day with like super tall heels every day. I mean, I spent a fortune on my wardrobe. I mean, I made a fortune, but it's like I also spent a lot of money on what I wore, and it was important like what I look like. So not even just dealing with clients, but people inside the facility would dress like that if you were, in a position of like management or whatever. It was really weird. It's a strange dynamic. It is corporate America. Corporate America is a very crappy place to be. It really is. It's just a place that's cold and scary and there's no soul there. So, I mean, it's like my days in corporate America and huge companies like that, I'm not missing them. So, but he is telling the truth about that. He's not exaggerating.
Chemistry, but they teach them to sound like they know what they're talking about. So I was talking to her and I heard a door open behind me, an exam room door, and I just glanced out of the corner of my eye, and there stood one of my sweet little old lady patients, and she kind of gave me this look, and she just shook her head and went back in her room and closed the door. And so I finished my conversation with the attractive drug representative, and then I went, and we'll call her Miss McGillicuddy. I went into Miss McGillicuddy's room, who I love very much, and she's passed on now. But she taught me a valuable lesson I'll never, ever forget, and I immediately changed how I practice medicine based on what she said. And so I walked in, and I shook her hand, and I patted her on the back, and I said, "What can I do for you today?" And she said, "You know, I wish I was still a young, attractive thing, and then you could make everyone else wait while you talk to me." Mm-hmm. And I could feel my heart dropping down amongst my livers, as they say. And
it is very refreshing to see a physician that has the capacity to feel shame. Kudos to you, Dr. Berry.
Inside my head, I was like, yep, that's the end of that. I'll never do that again. And so when I finished with Miss McGillicuddy, who I apologized to profusely, I went to my front desk and I told the girls working for me at that time that I would never see another drug rep. And to this day, I do not take time out of my clinical day to see drug reps. They can buy my staff lunch if they'd like. I will walk to the front and I will sign their book so they can leave free samples so that some of my poorer patients can take advantage of those. But as far as stopping my clinical day and putting off seeing patients to see a drug rep and talk to them and hear their spiel, and that's exactly what it is, I haven't done that for over a decade now. And thanks to Miss McGillicuddy, I never will do that again.
You know, I was really impressed with this video because it just, to me, seems very, very genuine. And he's told his story about how he was practicing medicine. He was taught how to do it. He wasn't taught the reality of what we really need to be focusing on. He was taught to treat symptoms and not cure anything. That's just the model. And that he was watching his patients get sicker and they were watching him get fatter and sicker. And he did something about it. He felt it was wrong. It is wrong. It's wrong for this to be going on. And he realized that, and he did something about it. He got on YouTube and wherever else, I don't know wherever else he started, but he started talking about all of this, and he's very successful now. He's grown his audience, and I think he's grown his audience because he's very honest. He's very straightforward. He just says it like it is, and people appreciate that. He gives very good advice, too. And when he doesn't know something, he says he doesn't know that much about it. Again, that's an attribute that I respect. Just like Dr. Chaffee was saying, I don't know that much about that subject. That is something very important that you want to hear from people. You want to hear, I don't know, because we don't know everything. They might know a lot about other things, but they don't know everything about a particular subject. And you have to be honest about that because we don't need any more snake oil salesmen and we don't need any more bullshitters. The world is too full of those. So kudos to you, Dr. Berry, for giving a crap about how Mrs. McGillicuddy felt. You are a good Southern boy and we appreciate you. Next up, we have one of my favorite people, Dave Mack. And in this video from 3 years ago, he's talking about stupid things that people say about the carnivore diet. And this is a little different from what Dave does. He does do videos like this from time to time, but he normally interviews regular people about their carnivore experience. And it is an excellent, excellent interview. He's one of the best listeners in the world. So definitely check his channel out because you can hear some amazing stories over there. But this is Dave from 3 years ago when around the time that I believe he started this channel. So take a listen.
Hey, it's Dave here. In this video, I want to talk about some of the stupid things people say to me because I'm on a carnivore diet. And if you've had stupid questions from non-carnivore people, please leave them in the comments below. Before we get started, I should say that I'm also intermittent fasting, so some of the stupid questions may be about that. Also, guys, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you all. I put out a video the other day about my first 16 weeks on carnivore, and the views, comments, and support that I got from everyone was overwhelming. The supportive comments that everyone left were amazing. I've tried really hard to answer every single comment that I received. If I've missed yours, I'm really sorry and I will get to it. And just before we begin, if you could do me a huge favor and smash the like button under this video and consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. It helps me to grow this channel and to spread the word about carnivore. So here are the stupidest things that have been said to me since I started carnivore and intermittent fasting. Now that you've lost weight, when are you going to stop the diet? So I'll admit this one's partially my fault too. The fact I call it a diet in the first place gives people the impression that I'm going to stop at some point. But like any diet, what's going to happen if you stop doing it? If you return to your old habits of eating sugary stuff, eating bread, drinking alcohol, what's going to happen? So when I get this question, I just quickly explain to people, this is not a diet. This is my lifestyle now. This is the way that I will eat forever.
And he still is. After 3 years, he's still on the carnivore diet. Very simple, straightforward, and very happy with the results.
Can't ever see myself going back to eating a regular 3 meals a day, balanced diet. The next one is, how will you socialize if you're not eating lunch or dinner? By talking? By listening? By gesturing? In fact, I can probably do a better job of talking and socializing than the person asking me the question because my mouth's not full of ravioli while I'm trying to do it. Next is, just have one donut. Now, especially if you work in an office, this is something that you'll commonly experience. You literally have the drug pushers in the office. Those people that are always bringing in snacks and they want to push them on everyone. But if you say no thank you or sorry I don't eat donuts or anything like that, they get mortally offended. What's one? One's not going to hurt. And the pressure from these people builds so much that you end up having to lie and say, I'm sorry, I have an allergic reaction to donuts. Next is, don't you get bored? And honestly, at the start of the diet, this is something I would probably felt myself. This is going to be boring. But once you're a month or two in, you realize there's nothing boring about it. I enjoy my food. I look forward to my food. I never feel hungry. And there's nothing boring about having no more pain. Next is, I don't know how you do that, which initially would cause me to try and get into some kind of reasoned discussion. But these days I just say, well, because I do. Next is, don't you need to eat a balanced diet? I put my hand under the middle of the plate and there you go, balanced. Next is, but you need fiber. My body disagrees. Next is, eggs have cholesterol in them. Yes, and carrots are orange. Next is, do you realize what you're doing to the planet? No. Do you realize what you're doing to the planet? And finally, you're more likely to get diabetes. Really, more likely than if I was eating bread and sugar and alcohol.
So Dave has the most wonderful sense of humor, is very, very funny, but also, like I said, best listener in the world, and a very earnest, honest, straightforward person. So he's another one that, you know, you can go to the channel and be sure that you're not going to get any BS at all.
My name is Belshine Jacobs McNerty. Belshine is a bit of a mouthful, so you can call me BS for short.
Well, when I say BS, I didn't mean, do you know what I mean? Next up, we've got Jim Bro's nemesis, Steak and Butter Gal, Bella Ma. Way back from, I think this was 5 years ago, and at this point, she had been on carnivore for 19 months. So she's given everybody an update on how she feels and how it's working for her and tips and things like that. So let's see what she has to say.
Next benefit and pro is muscle mass and fat loss. So I choose to combine both of them because both of them are going to be affected inevitably in a good way. So ladies and gentlemen who are worried that not eating carbs or only eating protein and meat is going to make you lose muscle and gain fat, You guys don't have to worry about that. I promise you, because I'm living proof here. I'm thinner and leaner than I ever was, even when I was vegan. So for all of you ladies out there who think that the only way you can get in your best shape ever is by going plant-based or vegan or vegetarian, you are gravely wrong. You are so wrong. And I really, really hope that you trust me when I say that you need protein and fat from animals, quality protein and animal fat, to truly lose that stubborn fat and to truly lean up and gain muscle, feel stronger and sexier, and fit into that gorgeous tight dress you have waiting for you.
That's one thing she does embrace, I have to say. She dresses like I used to dress when I was in my 20s.
When did young girls start dressing like tramps?
They call them prostitutes.
You know, she's always got the midriff like 24/7. It's like if you're looking at Bella, you're looking at her belly, Bella's belly. It's like you're looking at her stomach. I always had a flat stomach, so I mean, I ran around in like Daisy Dukes and things like that when I was. You probably don't even know what that is. If you are a Gen X, you know what that is. So I used to run around in the little jean shorts and everything with, you always saw my belly button, always looking at my belly button. And so when she dresses, which I mean, I'm not ragging on her at all, but we used to call that prostitute outfits. So it's nothing derogatory, I swear. You know, it's nothing wrong with like, hey, if you've got it, flaunt it.
And also, because it's summertime, I really urge you guys to try cutting out the carbs and upping your fats and protein, and just see what it does to your beautiful body in literally just 2 weeks. I promise you, this way of eating will change your body. And I'm just talking about the outside, you know, how you look on the outside, it will be changed forever. And for the men out there who love working out, who love going to the gym and gaining, bulking, you guys don't have to worry about losing muscle mass, because the protein and fat is going to really support your gains, your energy, and your ability to really work out hard. There are too many ladies out there on Instagram asking me how they can lose weight and stay thin. And I always say, cut out the carbs, eat more fat, and then eat more protein. I personally prioritize my fats over protein just because that's what my taste buds and body wants first. And also because I do believe that eating fat will make you thin, not the other way around. Okay, so besides slimming down, adding muscle, which I feel like is a great bonus.
So that was 5 years ago, and she had been on carnivore for 19 months. And the thing about Bella is it seems like her message she's very passionate about is the same as it is now. She's basically saying the same thing she did before. The only thing different I've seen is like she's working out, and which is different from what she used to do, and she tried messing with her macros or something, but she's not doing the whole I'm gonna eat carbs now thing. It seems like to me that her message is fairly consistent from 5 years ago. She's not all over the place or saying nutty things. So, you know, check her out. She's a steak and butter gal after all. Okay, guys, I had to put this in here, all right, because, well, you'll see, but I just had to. Now, anybody who follows my channel knows that my biggest thing about Dr. Kiltz is that he's the biggest hippie.
Got it. Mom, is that one a hippie?
This is a video from 10 years ago, and it's on Valentine's Day. So you just got to check a little bit of this out. So again, I don't know Dr. Kiltz, never met him. Everything that he does could be some kind of persona. Who knows? You just don't know nowadays. You know, he could be putting it on. But I was watching him not that long ago, and I'm like, my God, he's one of these peace loving, woo, you know, hippie type guys. And it was just funny to me, some of the stuff he was saying. And I'm not laughing at him in a mocking way. It's just, you don't see that type of person, I don't think, very often, or at least I don't meet people that are like this. I have met people in my life that are like this. There were plenty of them running around in the 70s, but it's just really funny. It's like he's been plucked out of Woodstock or something. It's so humorous to me that he's kind of has this way about him. If he seems to be a very kind person, very nice and different, very quirky type of dude. A little bit corny. Watching this video from 10 years ago, it shows me that he is what he's showing you. That is who he is, I believe, in my opinion. So check this out.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Rob. Another awesome day. How you doing today? It is a beautiful day. It's Valentine's Day. It's Love Day. That means focus on your love. That's a person quite often, but I'm going to suggest it's focusing on love in the mind to all that in your life that you've ever experienced, which will help you experiencing it today, now.
I'm sorry. The long stares into the camera is just it's too much. It's too much for me to handle. So I have to. Okay. All right, let's continue.
It's a challenging thing sometimes when we carry judgment, fear, worry, anxiety, regret. It's hard. It eats us. It brings us down. We all feel it from time to time, and sometimes some of us feel it all the time. My suggestion, put a smile. Imagine the beauty that God has given us today, in this beautiful day, in a celebration of Valentine's Day is simply another day to shine love all around you. A little note, a red rose, a little bit of chocolate, very dark, of course.
Okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So anyway, I just thought that was funny to look back so far. Well, in this case, this is 10 years. This is quite a while ago. And then the other one was, I think Dr. Barry was pretty far in the past, which he was 8 years ago, I think, the video that I showed you. But it kind of shows to me, again, I don't know these people personally. You have no idea unless you really meet somebody. But it tells me that Dr. Kiltz's persona is likely real. That is likely what he really believes and how he really is. The whole flower child thing, you just don't see that often. Kudos to you, Dr. Kiltz. You keep putting flowers in those guns, okay? You hear me? You keep doing it. Hold the line. Peace. So, I hope you found that interesting. I have no idea where that came from or why I decided to do this video. It was interesting to me to go back in time and see where a lot of these people started, what they were like before, and what they're like now. And let me know what you think, because people have a lot of opinions on this. There's a lot of grifters out in the nutrition space. And so it's hard to know who's full of crap and who's putting on like a show versus who really means what they're saying, that kind of thing. And this is all perception and opinion. Your opinion of the people you just watched may be completely different from mine. You may think that they're grifters or actors or whatever. I don't know, but put your comments down below and let me know what you think about all of these guys or any other influencer that you have some opinions on. But if you can subscribe, I would really appreciate it if you hadn't already done so yet. And make sure that you hit the notification bell, because that way you'll get notified of upcoming videos and live streams. And thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.